from the oldest city in the USA, St. Augustine Tonight, with our guests, Sallie O'Hara, Lorna MacDonald, and musical guest, Grapes of Roth. And your host, Jorge Rivera.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. I know what you're thinking. They must have gotten a raise. Grand piano, the great Toscanini on the keyboards, and I have a new suit. But no, we did not get a raise. We're still peddling that can on the street. Also, I wanted to say that I'm so happy you're all here at our new venue. Our next 3 shows are going to be here at the Lincolnville Museum Cultural Center. And what a classy place this is. This place now is bringing jazz to this place. They're bringing theater plays, some really, really good musicians and activities. So if you haven't checked out the Lincolnville Museum and Center, Cultural Center, you're missing out. Keep track of what's going on here. This place is going to really change that whole cultural center thing that I'm telling you about. Today, I was thinking of last night that I was at the opening reception of the Downtown Abbey at Lightner. That was incredible. If you weren't there, you missed an incredible exhibition, because we were able to see the exhibition. They had a band from the 1920s. People were dancing. It was remarkable. And most of the ladies were all dressed in the attire of the 1912 to 1920s. So, and the band was playing all sorts of things. You know, I wish I had a pianist. It's like having a soundtrack in your life. Please give a hand to Dave Toscanini. He is, you can see him around town. He plays everywhere. And I remember I called him the other night and I said, David, there's a grand piano. He said, what? I said, yes, you know what I mean. And here he is, keeping us company for this wonderful little event we have here. Our guests for today are going to be Sallie O'Hara. We have Lorna MacDonald. And we have the Grapes of Roth. And so we're going to rock the house today. Also, before we continue, I really want to do you know, what happened in Vegas, our prayers, our hopes for all these people who were just literally butchered. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's been a very hard month. Hurricanes, all sorts of things. So let's keep our positive thinking, let's keep our prayers going, and let's hope for the best. And I'm glad that we have little moments like this where we can forget a little bit of our troubles and enjoy some wonderful company and some wonderful music. When we come back after these messages, we're going to leave you with the Grapes of Roth.
Hi, I'm Carla Wagner. I am the owner of what we call in the hood the Triple C's, and that stands for the Corazon Cinema and Cafe, here located at 36 Granada Street.
And how many theaters you got in that lovely place?
Oh, you haven't been to the Corazon? You need to come on out and see. Come on out. This is 1, and this is Theater 2. Last but not least, Theater 3.
So what kind of movies do you run here?
Oh, we have a variety of different movies. We have classical, foreign, documentaries, you name it, we carry it. We're an art house, so we have a lot of different movies.
That's right, you're an art house. Well, I gotta say, I like the way Triple C rolls. Yeah, that's Chaplin, love him.
So, you can come here to socialize, you can come here for a great film, or you can come here and have a bite to eat too. So come and see us.
Salud.
Salud.
I like this place.
Oh, and by the way, we have a valued commodity, and that's lots of parking.
Hi, my name's Dana. I own Sweet City Cupcakes, and we're located at 233 West King Street. We specialize in custom cakes and cupcakes. We use fresh and local ingredients and bake fresh daily. Each of our cupcakes is decorated with a unique look to complement the flavor. We have signature cupcakes such as the Marilyn, the Elvis, the I Love Lucy. We have a unique vintage look. Stop in and say hello. Have a cup of coffee and a delicious cupcake. Even better yet, take a box home to share with the family.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number y hablamos español.
US One Computer Works has been serving St. Augustine since 2002. We make repairs on all makes. Is your computer slowing down because of malware and viruses? Bring it to us. And if you can't come to us, we'll come to you. Do you need a wireless network at your business? Problems with your routers? Call US One Computers. We're ready for the task.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here with Sallie O'Hara. So nice to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh well, you know, some people have referred to you as the unofficial mayor of Villano.
Oh,
and so because you're so proactive in that community,
right?
You're making so many things happen.
Yeah, that's a misnomer for me. I'm merely an executive director of the Villano Beach Main Street.
All right.
There are a lot of community members that have taken the initiative for the last 20 years.
That is a long time. So, if we wanted to know what is home when you think of growing up, going to school, what is home?
For me, Northeast Florida. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, and when I married a fellow from Palatka, I settled in St. Augustine and met halfway. So,
yeah. The buffer zone.
And that was, 45 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm a homegrown Floridian.
Wow. And your family's been here a long time.
5 generations. And still kicking.
Wow. So when you look you're linked to Villano. How did you get so attracted to that one space?
Well, it was not my intent when I was retiring for a third time from my various and sundry activities. I worked for the state of Florida for 33 years, and here in this museum brings me home because between 1980 and 1985, the state of Florida actually occupied this space with the Department of Children and Families welfare units. Okay. And I transferred in 87 and left it. My office was downstairs. So I helped measure the windows and every square inch of this building as it was being renovated. But from there I moved on to the nonprofit world and worked for many, many years in administration. When I exited that, I was an executive director of a child welfare agency in Jacksonville, and then exited that, and then I began independent consulting. Switched totally from social services background to environmental and different areas. I was connected with the Friends of A1A, Scenic and Historic Coastal Byway, and that's how I kind of backed into Villano, because Villano is on the A1A Scenic and Historic Coastal Byway.
And I think the first time you really came to my attention was when you had just finished a book about Villano. And so I remember they had the carp and all the people were there and you were signing books and talking with people. And so can I show this book to the audience?
Yes, you may. Certainly. It's Villano and the North Beaches. It's an Arcadia publication. And there are about 1,000 of these publications nationwide, and they focus in specifically on small town communities, digging into the roots. In St. Augustine, actually, there's about 3 or 4 St. Augustine specific books, and there's 1 or 2 on Marineland, but there had never been one on Villano and the North Beaches.
Now, how far back in history does this book go?
Back to the Native American times. In the first chapter, we talk a little bit about that, bring you up to speed in the early 1900s when the Usina families came along, and each chapter is chronological, detailing the development of the areas, Surfside, North Beach, and Auguste Heckscher developed the Platte in 1927 for Bologna.
Well, I remember you were kind enough to sign a book and give me the book, and when I went through it, what was amazing of this book, it wasn't just a book, it was a photo album. I mean, there's so many pictures, and the question that came up to me was, how did you get a hold of all these pictures of this specific area?
Well, to begin with, we started the project on the suggestion of a transplant from Pennsylvania. John Pilecki, one of the 3 authors of the book, had written a similar publication for his community back in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. And I connected with his cohorts up there and asked them, well, how am I going to do this? So we wrote a proposal to Arcadia Publication. It was accepted. They loved the idea. And to get the meat of the material for the photographs, we had scanning parties. Betty and Frank Usina graciously offered their facility on multiple occasions at North Beach campgrounds to allow us to bring in folks from the community and empty out their scrapbooks.
Yeah, they brought their albums and scrapbooks.
We had story after story after story. It was so fascinating and exciting experience.
It's amazing. Yeah, because you look at a place like Villano and say, okay, this is it. But when you come to a book, you realize it has this rich history, and it goes a long way. And so, I mean, always, I remember I did my DNA looking for my history. And I know you took a trip to Ireland not too long ago.
Yes,
O'Hara.
I
How Irish
did
can O'Hara be?
indeed.
You know?
Had a wonderful trip this summer going to Ireland. We kind of circled the island from Dublin down to Cork and up to Sligo, Belfast.
Wow.
Even hopped over to Scotland for a day or two.
What do you think was the most memorable thing about that trip?
The day I purchased my grandson his Irish cap and his wool jacket, and he looks for all the world like a 1900 immigrant from Ireland. And he loves it. He was cold, so I had to get him something to wear it warm. But he's a Titanic enthusiast. So we did go to Belfast. We saw the Titanic, and that's where it was constructed, of course. But I really loved the Hill of Tara. My company, which my independent consulting company, is Tara Hill Specialties. Well, because of the O'Hara, right? We have roots in the South, and preceding my trip to Ireland, we went to Atlanta for a Rotary International conference, 100 years anniversary. So I partook of the Margaret Mitchell Museum, and I was imbued with O'Hara Southern history there. Then I went to Ireland and had another dose of it for a few weeks, and I haven't stopped. So,
in the movie Gone with the Wind, you see that strong immigrant Irishman making it in America, and at such a difficult time, just struggling to make it happen.
Yes, and the timeliness of that particular novel highlights the war conflict, the struggle for survival, and
a woman especially. You know, she's one of the first characters.
And the emergence of feminism during that time frame, and it was mirrored when I was in Ireland. I got several books for light reading and folk tales and Wild Women of Ireland.
The Wild Women of Ireland.
I'm involved with the Telltellers of St Augustine, and I listen to their stories, and these chock full of good nuggets of storytelling.
So, do you think in the last 20 years that Villano has changed a lot?
Oh,
tremendously. What is there now that wasn't there 20 years ago?
What we have there is a cohesive community really focused on becoming a renewed, walkable, bike-friendly, pedestrian-type, modern community, but within the same ambiance and constraint of being laid back and coastal. We don't want it to change like Daytona or South Florida. We want to retain the ambiance of a small coastal beach community, retain the history, retain the look of the 1950s era. We do have a design overlay that we comply with when we have new buildings going underway. And speaking of new buildings, we've got 2 hotels and a mixed condominium townhouse unit going in. So about 18 months from now, you probably will not recognize Villano Road.
That much. You know, I'd love if they had, I always look at Villano, it's like a stone throw away. And I wish there was a ferry service. Because you see this in so many other, you know, if you go to San Francisco, there are all these little communities like Sausalito and Tiburon, and people get on these little ferries that take them there, and people love it. And I said, it'd be great if there were a ferry.
Well, actually, we had a short ferry service that was pretty regular during the 450th celebration. That was our first pilot into having a real structured ferry. We do have private taxi services going on, so we're trying desperately to encourage governmental entities like the city and the county to get behind the concept of water taxis and a regular route waterway, because we have wonderful blueways up and down the St. Johns County area, and we're working on a greenway trail too from South Ponte Vedra to Villano. So there's a number of improvements that we're, and it takes decades to get them accomplished, and we're just moving in that direction.
Because
and part of that is to also have the public aware of who we are and where we are, and we do that with festivals. We do have a Villano Beach Festival that we are planning for April 20th and 21st coming up.
And what's the theme of that festival?
It's to the Tour of Homes and the Sea Turtle Soiree and Music Fest and Dish and Fish, all combined into 2 days of wonderful activities.
Yeah, because every time I see this, something like that happening. And now in Christmas, you also have these decorations around the palm trees. I go out there to look at them in the evening. I mean,
we're trying for real lights.
But I mean, still, they're very creative, what people come to do. And you know, and like you said, you have Ponte Vedra just right there, which is also in St. Johns County. Though some people try to make it part of Jacksonville, it's not. It's part of our border. We'll have the militias protected, but and I think that's great that you can have you can feed off each other too.
Sure, and we've got a vibrant art and music community. We have music all over the place, and art. We've just started a Villano Beach art program through a grant through the Community Foundation of Northeast Florida, and we're trying to get a facility. Right now we're using the North Shores Community Improvement Association facility for that, but we're trying to make it a place where people want to come and stay.
That was my other question. If you had to sell Villano to someone in St. Augustine to just cross the bridge, what would you say should be the incentive for them? Go there because?
It's off the beaten path. And it's got all the amenities at your fingertips. So,
and the beach is right there too.
Oh, recreation, sea turtles, sunrise, sunset. It's gorgeous.
So when you look at Villano, you're saying 18 months, but if you think of Villano 5 years from now, do you think we'll see big changes?
You'll see physical structures along Villano Road, but as far as the community itself, we're trying to retain the small beach, coastal, walkable, bikeable community.
Keep that. Yeah, it's so pretty on that side. I go there a lot, and I'm glad they built that Publix there, and I think they're happy too, because it's not a big one either. It's quite compact, but it has everything you need.
Yeah, and recently,
people are happy.
Recently, Publix endorsed the location as one of the top producing stores in Northeast Florida. They purchased the land upon which it was built, so that means they have invested in our community long term.
And I think the Villano is one of the most active communities in the nation. I mean, if people actually...
We're up there,
really trying to make a change.
Yes.
All right. And where could we get your book if we were interested?
You can visit the VillanoBeachFL.com website. It's available online to order, or you can contact me, and my information again is at VillanoBeachFL.com website.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank
You're a
you,
wealth
Jorge.
of information, and it's good to kind of, it's like going, Villano's behind there, and just pull the thing and take a look. Oh, so that's what's going on there. Thank you again. Let's give a hand to Sallie O'Hara. And we'll be back with our next guest after these messages.
In any industry, the best-known product is the one most frequently purchased. Think of industry leaders like Coke, Nike, and Starbucks. It's true in real estate too. The most successful realtors have strong personal brands. In fact, branding is especially important in the real estate industry. The National Association of Realtors tells us that reputation is the most important factor when choosing an agent, and another word for reputation is brand. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Hello, I'm Grant Paxton. Welcome to Foxtrot Creative Studio. Let me show you what we do.
We've been in business for 3 years now. We can create different graphics for you, ads, mailers, flyers, business cards, logos, and even websites. And we're also a printing company as well. So we can create for you the design you need and then the final product. We can usually get you with a design, we can get you a brand new business card in less than 2 days.
Our ingredients are mostly natural. It's palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil. We put cocoa butter, shea butter, and real silk in our soaps. Also, it's something that's pleasing to the eye and you enjoy using it. Come visit us at Antoinette's Bathhouse.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And our second guest for this evening is Lorna MacDonald. Yes. Now, Lorna, I heard a legend. They said to me, the rain tree. A lady from Scotland came on a ship a long time ago. And I said, I don't know if she's from Scotland, but I don't know if she came in a sailboat. So I said, and I know the Rain Tree as an excellent restaurant, but almost as an institution, that so many people refer to it as a place to go. So tell us if the legend is true. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Penzance in Cornwall, where the real pirates came from.
The Pirates of Penzance, the musical.
About as far south as you can go from Scotland, but that's where I grew up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful coastline, and just fabulous place to live. They have palm trees there.
Yes.
Imagine
when
that.
I was in Plymouth, I saw these. There. Yes, I know that area, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's where you go and you say, you know, this would be a great set for any movie. Yeah. Any movie. It's just
St. Michael's Mount. I mean, you know, what is more picturesque than that?
Yeah, there's a little place called Mouse Hole, I remember, and it was very beautiful. And yes, what shocked me were palm trees. Yeah. You don't think of England and palm trees. No. South of Spain, yes.
Especially you take that rugged coastline, and then there's like palm trees there. It's like
you get that tropical whatever, so it allows them to be. Yeah. So you came from that part of the world. How old were you when you came here?
When I left England, I was 17.
Wow. And you came in a sailboat?
We did come in a sailboat.
Oh my Lord. How long is that trip?
We took just over a year to sail here.
Well, you must have hopped.
It was a long trip, but it was fantastic. I mean, there was never a dull moment. My dad came home one day and he's like, okay, let's sell everything, pack up. My mom was actually born in a little village between Mousehole and Penzance called Newlyn. You had to have driven through it to go to Mousehole. Have gone through it. And you know, she'd been there all her life, and she was not too, you know, she didn't jump right on the bandwagon and go, sure, well, let's sell everything.
She went a little kicking and screaming.
But we did. We sold our business, sold our house.
So how many of you were on that sailboat when it left?
Just my mom and dad and my brother and myself.
Now, you had told me that you guys kept your sailboat not there, but somewhere else.
In the south of France. That's where we kept, you know, kept it in the, you know, in Toulon, the south of France. And then we would, every time we had any vacation time or whatever, my dad would pile us all in the car. We'd drive up to Southampton, then we'd catch the ferry across to Le Havre, and then drive all the way down to south of France. It was like forever. It was the longest trip.
Oh, wow.
But
That part of Havre, I knew it in history, is where all the Huguenots came to America
right.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
and it's very interesting that you came, when you said you came through that port, that's what came into my mind, because I'm a history buff. So you drive over there, get your boat in the water, and then, so there were boat people, you've been boat people for a long time in your family.
Always. I mean, I think from, being carried around in a carry cot, it was like, we were always we had, always had a sailboat.
And you sailed through the Mediterranean to all these different ports that you could.
Yeah, we go to Italy. We either go one direction, go to Italy and Greece, or we go the other way and go to Spain and Portugal, and just I had a great life growing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't painful.
Wow. And so now you find yourself here in St. Augustine. Why St. Augustine?
Well, my parents had actually been here previously with my brother, and they had stopped in St. Augustine, and that was just going to be one place that we knew we were going to come here,
Right.
or because they just said it was so beautiful. We were actually heading for the Chesapeake Bay area. That was our goal when we left England, but we ended up landing here in St. Augustine, and my brother actually got off the boat further south in Singer Island, because he met a girl there. So,
Those women and sailors, what can I say?
And then I met the dockmaster here, so it was like, okay, just like leaving kids as you were going. So it's like, so we ended up, we just never left. It's like St. Augustine has that hold on people.
Wow. Yes.
Still does. I mean, I can't imagine going anywhere
This is our
else.
second season, and I'm just amazed of how people end up here. From crashing into a van full of nuns to buying a house on the internet and just showing up. I mean, I go like...
But then once you get here, then you never leave.
Right.
It's like that's just the way it is. If you do, you're coming back. I mean, it's like...
And so how did you end up with this wonderful place called the Rain Tree?
So we actually went there for, it would have been my 19th birthday, and it was a little tiny restaurant called the Casa de España, and they
Casa
had
de España.
There were little 6 or 7 tables in the front, which was kind of like the living room area with a central fireplace, and then the kitchen was in the back, and they lived upstairs. And the lady had 4 children and was a single mom and kind of crazy.
It'd be kind of the little mother little place you'd find in Spain.
Yeah.
Run the same way.
Yeah. So we went there for dinner for my birthday, and there were, I don't know, like 8 of us or something. And when we ordered our dinner, she actually went to the Winn-Dixie, which was right up the road. It was where the Holiday Inn is now, but went right up the road and went to the grocery store and sort of did the grocery shopping and came back. So maybe we had a couple too many glasses of wine while we were waiting on dinner. And next thing we know, we're like, well, somebody who did something with this place, it could really make a great restaurant.
What could we do with this place?
Right.
And so you bought it?
So my parents bought it, and then we spent 9 months renovating. So literally gutted it inside and out.
You kept the same size?
It was substantially bigger when we reopened.
Is it bigger now than it was when you first opened it? Okay.
Yeah. So we probably added on, I don't know how many square feet, but I mean, it probably close to doubled in size just from the get-go. And obviously we use the upstairs for a banquet room. We don't live there.
Yes, I've been up there.
God forbid, I couldn't imagine living there. That would just be, that would be awful.
I know the lady lived up there. Yeah, it's very small, but the banquet room is lovely.
Yeah,
lovely
it
up
works
there.
great.
And so, did you have any history in kitchens or cooking to take this task?
My parents were a partnership in a restaurant in England, but had never actually physically worked in one. My brother and I had both worked in restaurants, but not to any great level, obviously, because we were young.
Right.
But my brother loved to cook, and so did I. We both loved to cook.
Wow.
And it just sort of just happened.
So it's been there how long now?
36 years.
Oh my
I know.
Lord. And so if you were sitting in Paris and you were at one of these restaurants in Paris that do fruit de mer, which is all the stuff out of the ocean, and you got into a conversation with someone and you told them, I own a restaurant in St. Augustine, and they said to you, in a nutshell, what is it? What kind of food? What kind of ambiance? What would you say?
I think ambiance is definitely very romantic. I think the old Victorian, the Victorian building and the style, the courtyards, and a lot of that is kind of progressed over the years. It's like, the whole courtyard, outdoor seating. I mean, we didn't do that when we first opened. That's actually, relatively new. But, and then food-wise, I'd say kind of eclectic. I mean, we do everything. We have our couple of things like beef Wellington and brandy pepper steak that have been on the menu since we opened.
Which many people have told me if you go there, you got to try the beef
they're
Wellington.
always good. And then, but then it's evolved. We've evolved a lot over the years.
You had said something to me that after the big crash in 2008, you decided to create also a menu that brought in families that probably didn't have the kind of budget.
Well, when we first opened 36 years ago, our servers, it was cummerbund and bow tie. It was very, it was kind of ritzy, high end, and obviously as years went on, it became apparent that that's maybe not what everybody's looking for.
Right.
Especially in St Augustine, we got a lot of tourists and one thing and the other. But certainly, in when the crash came, then that was a good time to make some menu changes. So.
And so, have you been sailing?
No. You can only wish. We kept the boat for the first 2 or 3 years we were open. You take it out every year, paint the bottom, put it back in, and just look at it. But
wow. Wow.
I wish.
And so, if you had to bring a guest to that restaurant, you had to order something from your own menu. What is your favorite?
Wow. I'm a bit of a lamb freak, so I love our rack of lamb. It's really good.
All right.
And the fillet's excellent. The fish is always good.
It's a wonderful place. The wine, the food, where it's located, it's just lovely. But you say you don't have time. Okay, yes, I think sailing takes a lot of time, maintenance of the ship, time to go. What do you do to relax?
Well, I love to take trips whenever we can. It's like that's always a goal. This weekend we're going to Pittsburgh to see the Jags and the Steelers play.
Oh wow, wow! So that's a lovely city. People told me that someone had said if you go to Pittsburgh, the stadiums are right in the center of town. I went to Pittsburgh and I said the stadiums are in the middle of town. Yes, they're right next to each other.
I've
you
never
can
been
hear
there,
the people. You'll love it. It's really nice, and it's so nice that people can come out of these stadiums, and there's the whole city to go and have a drink or something to eat. I think the river there, the way it's laid out, it's a fabulous city, and it's in a comeback. A lot of these cities were steel cities, and so they have to reinvent themselves, and they have. And when you look at your restaurant, what do you think you're the thing that makes you the proudest of this institution? I call it an institution.
Wow, the institution.
Yes.
I think it's beauty. I just think it's a really beautiful building. It's very comfortable. It's like it feels very homey to me. It's like I hope everybody else gets the same vibe that I do, and and all the people I work with, and especially my husband. We actually get to work side by side, 24/7.
How is that?
It's actually great.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. I was going to ask you a question. A lot of people know you as a philanthropist, someone who gives so much for the community. And you won, I think, this year. Is it the Gus Gregg Award? Is it called?
I
did.
And
that award is given to people who really are active and give a lot of love to the community. How did you feel when your name came up for that award?
Thoroughly overwhelmed. It's like when you look at that list of names. This was the 20th one this year, and it was pretty amazing. And then we had a big dinner last Thursday night at the Casa Monica to celebrate, and it's for the Salvation Army, so it's a way of fundraising for them also.
For those who don't know, who was Gus Gregg?
Gus Craig, it was Craig Funeral Homes. That was his business, and he was always very big with the Salvation Army. So upon his death, and that became he did
so much for Salvation Army that people felt.
So they kind of embraced him, and then by having this dinner, then the people sponsor it, and then you get everybody to come, and then they it's a fundraiser. So it's the giving keeps on giving.
If you could get away, I think this will be our last question. Yes, if you could get away and get on a sailboat again, is there a place of the world you would love to sail that you haven't?
Wow. There's places I'd love to go. I don't know where I'd love to sail. I'd love to go to Australia and New Zealand.
Me too.
Yeah, that's one, and Africa.
South Africa. I'd love to
see
check
some
out
animals.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Every time I hear this eclectic mix of people and music and food, and Australia, of course, always.
Well, you've traveled all over the place. Right?
I have, and it was something I had to make my decision. Do I stay working in this place and wait till they give me my gold watch? Or do I just break away with a North Face backpack And I went for a year, and I came back 14 years later, and different. My soul was different, my mind. My father always used to say, I don't want to see Jupiter or Mars. I just want to see that little blue speck that you can't even see. And it made sense. And he never got to see. I used to send him postcards. And he'd always go, how does he do it? How does he do it? You know? And, but I think he traveled through me. When he got sick and eventually he died, he'd always say, tell me a story of your travels. And I would.
And now you're in St. Augustine, you'll never leave.
Now I'm trapped, I'll never leave. I'll have to break again. I thank you so much.
You're
You've
welcome.
been so kind, and we're so proud to have you in our community.
Thank you.
And keep that place going.
I'll do it.
To Lorna MacDonald, thank you so much. We'll be back after these messages we're going to talk to Elizabeth Roth.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
People, we're back. We're back with our third guest, Elizabeth Roth.
Hi.
Elizabeth, you guys played great. You guys were great. That first, I love that song. Yes, those are my teenage years. Yes, Stevie Wonder.
James Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, we did Stevie Wonder. We're going to do a James Gang song.
Yeah, okay. And tell me, when you think of community, where you grew up, what do you call home, what would that be?
Well, I grew up in Jacksonville. But I moved to St. Augustine in the summer of 1985. We actually moved here. I moved here for the summer to do Cross and Sword, which was the state play of Florida that was put on every year at the amphitheater.
Oh, okay. And that was what, about the beginnings of St. Augustine?
Paul Green wrote it. He wrote a series of state plays, and it was had a few musical numbers. The story of the founding of St. Augustine.
Right, right. Yeah, people have mentioned that, but I wasn't here, of course. And so that's what brought you to here, and then you decided to stay because?
Right. I met a lot of friends in the theater community and music, the cultural aspects of St. Augustine.
It is a city full of musicians.
It's a beautiful place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I always joke around and say, you know, it's been a long summer because I was here for the summer, 1985.
Well, it's like Lorna MacDonald says, once you come here, you don't leave.
Oh, that's right. People say that. You can't escape.
Can't escape.
You come back.
So that's so what was your first dabbling with music that you can remember as a child?
My father had all of us take piano lessons.
Piano lessons?
Yeah, my father was a big music fan, and he liked to go to piano bars and played well enough to fake all the old standards out of the books. And so I'm one of 4 children. I'm the youngest. We all took piano, but then when I was 13, he bought a guitar, which the story was for himself.
Oh.
But I don't know. I picked it up, started teaching myself a couple things.
Wow.
Blackbird by the Beatles and some Led Zeppelin things. And,
oh, wow.
He said, I guess the guitar's for you.
Wow. And so, but did you started piano and the guitar took your heart? You went towards the guitar. And so you kept... So you self-taught, but how did you keep learning? How did you keep progressing?
I was self-taught for a lot of years. I would take a lesson or just talk to someone and they'd teach me something, but picking out songs by ear, and back in the day, the internet's so great now.
Oh yeah, you can learn anything on the internet.
Listen to the radio, and you'd sit there with one of those little cassette decks, remember those little square ones everybody had?
Yeah.
Wait till the song came on, record it, and then you'd have to press rewind, 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 and write out the lyrics. And we'll learn songs by ear. So,
and it's so funny because they were running an old interview of Tom Petty. Tom Petty told the story of how he'd have to sit in a car radio in his time and write the lyrics down. And sometimes he couldn't get the lyrics, like the Rolling Stones were really difficult. So it was kind of funny. And it's funny that you say you would write the lyrics down of songs.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you say that kind of influenced you, that you really love their music?
I really grew up listening to a lot of classic rock. Beatles.
Which would be Beatles,
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Heart, Journey, Queen. I loved Billy Joel. And folk singer-songwriter stuff too. Joni Mitchell and Cat Stevens and James
I love
Taylor.
Cat Stevens. I love his voice. And do you still have that original guitar?
I do, the one that my dad gave me, yeah.
Was it a good guitar?
No, it was kind of a junky guitar. It was an Epiphone, old Epiphone.
But your dad, it's connected to Dad. Yeah. You still have you ever played it?
I played a lot of gigs with it when I first started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you remember your first gig?
I can. I played at a Christmas party in St. Augustine Beach. I didn't start gigging out until I was in my early 20s, even though I played since I was 13.
Do you think people come out earlier to play gigs?
A lot of my friends said they played in clubs, as early as 15 or 16.
Yeah, Prince, they say, was playing at 14, 15, lying about his age.
Right. I didn't care about anything but music but since I was 13, though, and I really wanted to play guitar. I didn't envision myself as much of a singer at all. Like I hear a lot of people say that they picked up the guitar so they could accompany themselves as a singer, but I just wanted to make the songs make sense, so I wanted to play guitar. I think I kind of diverted your question. Did I answer it?
Well, yeah. I asked you who influenced you.
Influences, yeah.
Then I asked you if you had the guitar.
Oh, you asked about how I learned, and I also went back to school, and I did eventually go back. I got a degree from Stetson.
When you say you went back to school, you're talking about college?
In college, I went to Florida. It was Florida. They've changed the name of it so many times.
It's Florida State now, is it?
It's not Florida State College. It was FCCJ. Got an AA, transferred to Stetson University, got a Bachelor of Arts in classical guitar. So, and I love classical music too. Beethoven and Dvorak.
Beethoven's your favorite? And Dvorak?
I love Beethoven,
yeah. Dvorak has that Symphony of the World, which is...
Is it New World Symphony?
Yes, New
World Symphony. And the Slavonic dances, that's really cool stuff.
Yes. And the Czechs and the Slovaks keep fighting over him.
I love playing bass, though. But
I saw you playing bass in the band for this song.
It's really fun. I think I might enjoy that more than playing guitar, which I've been doing all of my life. But
I was listening to Curtis Mayfield today, and that's so bass, that funk music that he played.
Right.
With like boom, 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 boom. It starts with bass. It's incredible. Yeah. What do you like about the bass? Because the bass comes across almost like a percussion instrument.
It's a rhythm section thing with the drums. It kind of moves the song along.
It's almost like in addition to the drums, because it comes, people want loud bass on there.
It's just fun. You can feel it, yeah. And it's really fun playing with these guys too, and my band. Get along really well.
Who's in your band now?
We have Trey Moore is our drummer, and Matt Van Rysdam is our lead guitarist.
They're awesome. They're both awesome. Let's give them a hand. They're awesome. They're awesome. And
we have a 10th year anniversary coming up.
Oh, wow. Let's give them another hand of applause. 10 years playing.
All the other guests were so polite and let you ask all the questions. I'm trying to take over here, aren't I?
No, it's fine. I need a break once in a while. As you see, the microphone stresses out. But you teach also, don't you?
I do, part-time at Florida School for the Blind.
Oh, wow. How is that?
It's really rewarding. I think it's my 16th year doing it.
Well, Ray Charles came out of there.
Yes,
Beware
he did.
America.
Yeah.
He came out of that school, Ray Charles is like one of the icons. Well, this museum has his piano downstairs.
Oh, really?
Yes, if you haven't come into this museum, you're going to find stuff that's incredible. They have his piano downstairs.
Oh, that's cool.
So when you guys go, rub your hands on it for good luck. But yeah, so the school there. Do you teach privately also?
I teach, well, I have taught private students in the community, but I teach private lessons at the school now exclusively. But
right.
Interestingly, as a guitarist, I'm teaching piano, voice, and violin right now. So, but the other part of the job is Tuesdays and Thursday nights we have rehearsals, and it's an after-school program of high school blind kids, and they're called the Out of Sight Band. And they're wonderful. It's not a traditional classical program like some schools have. They do pop and rock and oldies, and there's a younger group called Envision, kind of like NSYNC, but it's
Does it warm your heart when you see them, where they go, what they can do with all that?
It's wonderful. We've had small groups, as few as 5 and as many as 15, and they just audition. It's an after-school program, and we have different instrumentalists and different combinations of singers, and we've done as many as 30 public performances a year.
Wow.
So Bill Sabo started it about 21 years ago. He just retired last year. So Jim Carpenter and I are there working with the kids still. So.
Keeping it going. It's so important. You know, when I went to school, we had so many options in art. Now it seems like, you know, there's such few options for kids in art.
Yeah,
and
cut a lot of those programs. That's too bad.
It is, because I think it's a great investment. Tell me, if you had the time to learn another instrument, what would it be?
Gosh, I don't know. Drums would be fun, although my son has a drum kit in my house and I never touch them.
Now you have 2
Cello.
children. Yeah, you have 2 children.
2
and
sons.
2 sons, and one went the music way.
Yeah, he plays music, yeah.
He plays? You like his music?
I do.
What is his genre? What does he like?
He writes a lot of songs.
Really?
And he's got a little recording studio that he's recorded a couple local bands, and he plays a little bit of drums and keys and bass and guitar.
Wow.
So
you think he got
He's got
that
my
from
temperament,
you?
though, too.
Yeah?
So it's bad.
It's bad?
Oh, no, the music thing's good.
So tell me, if you were on an island, you could listen only to one song. What would that be?
I've been asked that before.
And
I said before Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. And then I thought, wouldn't it get repetitive and old? And then I thought, wait a minute, it's 9 minutes long already, and I've heard it 50 times. So
is Kashmir the one that has all these North African instruments in it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's
I mean,
like
if you sang a song, can I count a piece and say about a whole Beethoven symphony? Might be a little more variety. Eroica, or I don't know.
Okay. Well, his 9th is so huge.
Yeah.
When you think of Beethoven, you think 9th. But he was a type of artist that did a lot of other things that people are not aware of. It's not just that. And that he was deaf at the end of his life, still composing.
I know, that's amazing.
It's just mind-boggling. So where do you see the Grapes of Roth in the future?
Well, I'm going to plug a couple of gigs that are coming up. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Like I said, we have the 10th anniversary. Trey's a little bit newer with us, but we're so happy with our new drummer. Matt and I have been doing this for 10 years, and to the day, the anniversary is October 20th. It's going to be at Zaharia's.
Okay.
And we love playing there.
If you like them here, you're going to love them there.
It's an early gig, 6 to 10. They like us to kind of rock it out there. We'll be down in Flagler Beach at the Golden Lion on October the 13th. Let's see what else is coming up. Well, we have a benefit for Hurricane Irma victims that's going to be taking place on October 24th and 25th. Is that right, Steve?
That's awesome.
It's called the WET Festival for people that had flooding. Wet Music Festival.
You guys killed it in the Sing Out Loud, because I saw you guys there at the old Colonial.
Fun.
You guys killed it.
We love doing those kind of festival type shows. And this is at Colonial Quarter 2, this benefit.
You have some CDs here too.
I do.
Yes, you do. This was the Grapes of Roth and Elizabeth Roth.
This is my older, it's an original CD. That's about 10 years old already now. But I was very proud of it. And I wrote most of the songs on it, and there were several others from local friends here in town.
So that was my other question. Do you write music? Write songs?
I do. And there's 7 of my originals on that album. And 4 by friends, yeah. This other one that we just came out with.
What, this one here?
We just actually taped that 2 years ago at the Music by the Sea series at the beach.
Okay.
And not really with the intention of releasing a CD, but getting some more demo material with our new drummer. And we taped the whole 2-hour show. We said, you know, this sounds so good, we're going to pick out an hour of it and put it out there.
Would you guys play something for us?
Yes, we will.
All right.
Can I tell you one other thing?
Yes.
We have a website, and we're on Facebook.
Okay.
Well, I have www.elizabethroth.com.
All right.
But the band has a Facebook presence, and we have...
If you like what you hear, that's the way to get it.
A great time, and thank you so much for having us.
Hey, you know, I love bringing local bands to the show, and I like It's to celebrate our community. This show is all about celebrating the community. And why not? We are such a classy town. And so you're part of that whole mix. Thank you.
It's a nice place to live.
All right. It is, and we can't leave. So when we come back, when we come back after these messages, the Grapes of Roth once again. Thank you. Okay.
Our ingredients are mostly natural. It's palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil. We put cocoa butter, shea butter, and real silk in our soaps. Also, it's something that's pleasing to the eye and you enjoy using it. Come visit us at Antoinette's Bathhouse.
Hi, my name's Dana. I own Sweet City Cupcakes, and we're located at 233 West King Street. We specialize in custom cakes and cupcakes. We use fresh and local ingredients and bake fresh daily. Each of our cupcakes is decorated with a unique look to complement the flavor. We have signature cupcakes such as the Marilyn, the Elvis, the I Love Lucy. We have a unique vintage look. Stop in and say hello. Have a cup of coffee and a delicious cupcake. Even better yet, take a box home to share with the family.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number y hablamos español.
That's our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thanks to our guest, Sallie O'Hara.